All right, let's call to order the special meeting, executive session, potentially for the Cochise County Board of Supervisors. Pursuant to ARS 38431.02H, the public will have physical access to the meeting room 15 minutes prior to the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion of possible action. Members of the Cochise County Board of Supervisors will attend either in person or by telephone. Members of the public may also attend this meeting via Microsoft Teams or the mobile app. Pursuant to ARS 38431.03B, minutes and discussions in executive sessions shall be kept confidential. We'll begin with a roll call. District 1.
Crosby is here.
District 2.
Gomez is here.
District 3. Antonori is here. All supervisors are present and in person. All right, so we're here today to have a discussion with Mr. Lasota. And for lack of a better term, I don't think there are any secrets anymore. It's been covered in the media and a bunch of other places, so I don't really see a need to go into executive session unless Mr. Lasota thinks it's necessary. But I would ask for a motion, but I don't think we need one. I think this is at a point where we should now just have this discussion in the open. Anybody got a heartburn with that?
Nope.
I don't have any problem with that. I was going to ask that very issue, and so if Mr. Lasota concurs, then it's just.
What do you think, Mr. Lasota? Is there anything sensitive that you think should be in executive session, or do you want to have this in the open?
Mr. Chairman, if I think we're getting into some territory where I think we should get into executive session, I will jump up virtually and say so. But
Okay.
I would agree. I mean, I think that we in open session outlined the deal points that were agreeable, and they've signed this agreement. So now I think it's just I think this is it's been covered, so to speak.
Great.
And Mr. Chair, may I just clarify for everyone, we're currently in a Board of Supervisors meeting. We will then have an agenda for the jail district, so the jail district board can also approve. So it'll be a separate meeting.
Okay, yeah, that would be the next meeting will be the jail district meeting after this meeting, which we will do the same thing in that because of the unique structure of this. Yes, Ms. Gomez.
Are we voting on something about, we had an administrative error as far as the case number? Are we going to do something about that today so that it's rectified?
I would defer to Mr. Lasota.
Yeah.
Yes, it did have the wrong number. I don't think it affected our compliance at all, and we didn't really take formal legal action the last time. But we have corrected that. You will be approving if you do approve the actual final settlement agreement. So even if there is an issue, it will be fixed if you approve this agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go to you, Mr. Lasota, to define the terms of the agreement and the steps forward from here on out.
Well, let me just start with just a quick rundown of the last court hearing we had. We had a brief court hearing on Tuesday, and basically the court said they would rule first on the motion to intervene. I did flag for the court that that we were in exactly the posture then, which was we'd had a deal points approved by the main deal points, the sort of the guts of the agreement approved by the board, and as such. And by that time, we had gotten signatures from the defendants, the plaintiffs. So at that time, settlement appeared imminent as it does now, and I pointed that out to the court. Yes, a board has to formally approve, and no guarantees of that, but we seem to be at an end. And I also pointed out that if we go the route of litigation, I mean, we could be sitting here, very easily could be sitting here in November of 25 without resolution when we could have just had the vote as has been proposed. So that's kind of the bottom line on where we are. So we should have a ruling from the court shortly. As soon as we're done with this meeting, if the court does approve, I will be notifying the court of the settlement. And that from the party standpoint, that remember the AG or the Secretary of State is not a party at this point. the thing has been finished. So, that's where we are on in terms of mechanically. The agreement, I think everybody has it. And it's, it does encompass the deal points we talked about. It's 130,000 is the payment. It does provide for an election November of 2025. It does provide for a suspension of the tax. And it talks about some things that, that the plaintiff thinks, which, are fine. I mean, we can say whatever we want in this agreement that he thinks. We're not saying we disagree with them, but we're just, we're leaving that to him, to say what, when it says the plaintiff says, then that's just what the plaintiff says. And we agree that he says that, but we're not really making that part of the agreement that the parties agree on, if that makes sense. So I think this is, I think that I know, different people have different opinions, that the AG's office, may say this, the Secretary of State's office, may say that. I think this is fully within the board's legal powers to do. And, I think it's a, it's a situation that you've been presented with, and this is a viable, solution. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman and members.
All right, Ms. Gomez.
I think the public doesn't understand that we actually, by settling and paying 130,000, we could have paid much, much more if we continued, or if it had gone to court and it had gone on the side of the plaintiffs. We could have been spending a heck of a lot more money in legal fees. Am I correct?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Gomez, that is absolutely correct. I mean, that the amount of fees for the type of the amount of work that has been done in this case, I think, is very reasonable. I mean, just look at Mr. Morgan's $83,000 bill for a petition for review and a response, which I will point out, a petition for review is a 3,500 word document that encompasses the points that have been made already in court. So litigation is very expensive. It is very time consuming. So yes, I think that this is an eminently reasonable number, and I think if we did, I think there is a chance, a decent chance we could have to pay more if we did proceed. And certainly, you'd have to pay, if I were to go and litigate this, you got to pay me. So we're saying, essentially, we've had plenty of lawyers. Let's come to resolution and let's move forward, and let's stop paying attorneys is one of a critical provision of this, even though there is a lump sum payment.
Thank you.
Mr. Crosby.
Mr. Lasota, is this the time to discuss dissolution of the jail district board and re-implementation of such board in the future if the jail district passes?
Mr. Crosby, I'd like to just stick to the settlement agreement. I know there's some mechanical things we need to, that are being worked through. But I think for now, we should just be focused on the settlement agreement. I am working with, in fact, I owe the Arizona Department of Revenue a phone call. I know Ms. Gilman and her staff are working hard on this. So, but for now, I'd like to let's just stick to the agreement if we can, and certainly there'll be a time to handle the mechanics.
Thank you.
What I would add is, depending on how this goes over the next couple of weeks and what the final outcome is with the judge from Apache County, we will have time to draft the language and the resolution for the ballot in November, where that can be addressed during that resolution. And that solves that problem. Just my offer to you. And I'm with you on fixing that, because I am on the record. I say it a million times. I despise special districts. So it's no secret where I sit on this issue as well. So I think there's a way to fix it, get it back on the ballot, and to get it done without having a special district. We will take that up after the case is over, and then when we meet to discuss how we're going to put this back on the ballot and the language that goes on it, I think that's the time that we'll put that together. All right. Any other questions? Mr. Cloud, do you have any comments?
Not yet.
Okay. Marty, any comments? Okay. Because you're named on here too,
Right.
so just giving you the chance to chime in. So, all right. Well, we have a agreement here. I guess the next thing to do would be to propose a motion to accept the terms of this agreement and to approve the agreement so that Mr. Lasota can take this back. And then, of course, we'll have to do this again in the next meeting as the jail district board of directors. But initially right now, we will need a motion to approve the settlement agreement obtained and reached by Mr. Lasota and his opposing counsel, Mr. Johnson, with regard to the LaChance et al. Versus Cochise County et al. We need the case number so we get that.
It's
up.
CV 2023-000363.
Okay, there we go.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the proposed settlement of Daniel LaChance et al. Versus Cochise County Jail District Board of Supervisors et al. CV 2023-00363, now pending in the Superior Court of the State of Arizona, Cochise County.
I second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. The settlement, as far as the Board of Supervisors is concerned, is agreed to. All right. Do we sign something after this, Tim, or do we give you the authority to sign it?
Mr. Chairman, if people can sign it while they're here, that would be ideal. Otherwise, we're going to have to chase you, or you could give me authority, but it's just, if we could just have folks sign while they're here, that would be ideal.
We'll get with the clerk of the board afterwards, and we'll get her to have us sign it.
If you could just print it out, and it doesn't have to be the same copy they signed. You'll notice that the copy, they collected a variety of signatures on it, and it's not a great photocopy at this point. So it doesn't have to be all on the same document as long as it has all the signatures on the identical document. So.
Okay. So any further discussion before I adjourn the Board of Supervisors meeting and begin the jail district meeting? No. All right, we're adjourned.